We're back in Pawnee County, Kansas, and this is our final video exploring all around the county like we like to do. And this is going to be an interesting one because I could not find very much to explore in this southern half of the county, kind of the southern half, I guess you'd say. In the first video I put out, it was about Larned and Fort Larned and a museum as well. And so then the second video was basically most of the rest of the population. And so I'd say that we've probably gone to 90% of the population of Pawnee County. And there's one town, one officially incorporated town today that we'll visit, and maybe one or two ghost towns. And other than that, it's tough sledding to try to find anything. I'm driving out to the western part of the county. If you remember in the last video, Burdett was way out there as the farthest western town, nice little town of a couple hundred people. And I'm hoping that there's a cemetery a couple miles south of Burdett, and that'll get us into the real southwestern part of the county where there's very little population. But I found an old map that says there's a cemetery there, but that's the kind of day this might be, is it's trying to wander around finding random things and then have a town or a ghost town here and there. So let's go ahead and get started and just check out the rest of Pawnee County, Kansas. Pulled over on the side of the road here, and you're probably wondering, why the heck did you pull over here? There's nothing here. And I found an old map at the Great Bend Library of Pawnee County, and there's little symbols on it for different things, and cemeteries is one of them. And I've been trying to find stuff, and I knew there wouldn't be much down here. And sure enough, kind of where it says, there's a cemetery way out in the weeds. I'm not going to go out there, but I see one headstone. So it's possible there's more. And I don't know if this was a farmer's cemetery or if there was any kind of community here. But what is interesting is right down there, you can see, a little elevator and some farm buildings, and who knows what that might have been. I'll drive down there, and I don't want to go way back in there because it's probably private property, even though it's not marked. Things out here aren't marked as much as they would be inside of a incorporated town limit or something like that. But yeah, so we did find something. Who knows? Maybe I'll do some more research, put it on the screen if I find anything. But there you go. There's a unnamed cemetery, not even on Google Maps or anything like that, and something down there. I was getting ready to turn that way to head east, and about a half mile south of the cemetery, and there's an old school. So yeah, definitely something of some sort of a community was here, and doesn't necessarily mean there was a town. It just means that there might have been some people living in this area. That really there are hardly anybody living here now, but they would, space schools out throughout the prairie, miles apart, and so that people could get to it. So it's a pretty decent sized looking old brick school there for such a desolate area of the county. But yeah, that's pretty cool to find that. Had no idea it was out here, and that's why we travel the back roads, check out things like that. And we're now rolling into Garfield, Kansas. This is the only incorporated town that we're going to visit today. So Garfield was originally called Camp Criley when it was founded in 1872. It was a supply station for workmen building the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad. The town was named after Captain J.D. Criley, the construction superintendent. And you see a sign here right in the middle of downtown that talks about how it was named Camp Criley in 1872. So then numerous Ohio immigrants started coming to the area, and they took up about 30 residences. The town got a post office in 1873, and they changed the name to Garfield after then congressman from their old district in Ohio, and later President of the United States, James A. Garfield. After taking his name, Garfield promised to give a bell to the first church built in the community. In 1874, grasshoppers plagued the town of Garfield, destroying the area's crops. Made it tough out here. But then the town soldiered on and was officially incorporated in 1910 when it had 333 residents. At the time, it was still on the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad and was a shipping point of considerable importance. Population peaked in 1930 at 451. Like a lot of towns out here, started to slowly diminish. The most recent population of 151 in 2020 is definitely the lowest ever for the town. I talked about how James Garfield said he would give a bell to the first building built in Garfield. So they built the Congregational Church in 1875, and he did give it that bell. And now here, this is the Memorial Wayside Chapel, which is a replica of that original church, and the bell is here.
And that's the bell Garfield gave.
Bit of an unusual historical marker here is the birthplace of farm credit. Pawnee County is considered the birthplace of farm credit because the nation's first federal land bank loan was made here in 1917 to farmer A.L. Stockwell. This next community is kind of spread out over a mile or so, and this is the Pleasant Valley Cemetery. The community that we're going to explore is called Zook, and it was started by a Mennonite named John Zook, who in the 1880s moved his family to this location in Pawnee County. It's a very nice cemetery, as we've seen several nice cemeteries in this county, and they show the different churches in the community on this pillar, which I thought was cool. It has a little bit more historical information, and then also talks about the school, which we're going to see remnants of in a minute here. But yeah, there's a little history of the area, and it's hard to see, but this is where it talks about the school. And then just down the road from that, there's a couple of abandoned looking homes, and then if you take a different road, you go over to the community of Zook here. And it was on the Anthony and Northern Railroad, and first school was built in the 20s, and then it closed in the 1960s. You can see the elevator there where the railroad would have likely gone through. And this is taking the one little dirt road around the community. There's I'm assuming was the auditorium, gymnasium, and then when you turn around here, there's next to this building here, there's a old sign for the school. And here you can see a little bit of remnants of something here, and that pillar of bricks would have led up to where the school would have been. So right there where the trees are would have been the school, and we're just down the dirt road from the gymnasium. On my old map, it says there's a cemetery right there. I think I see a couple headstones. You can definitely see, how it used to be probably a regular cemetery. So we're at the corner of K and 30th. If anybody knows the history of that cemetery, feel free to put it in the comments. We've made it to the end of our trip. This is Point View Cemetery, and there used to be a post office here from 1879 to 1912. So 33 years post office. Obviously they had some kind of community, but online it said it was like a country post office. So probably wasn't a town or anything like that, but they have the cemetery here. There's one house in the kind of catty corner from the cemetery. And it's nice, nicely kept cemetery. There's been some really nice cemeteries in Pawnee County, and I've really enjoyed exploring it. I didn't go down every back road, so there's it's quite possible I missed some stuff. So if I missed some stuff, I missed some abandoned schools, or I missed anything, feel free to put it in the comments. There were about another 15 post offices in this county that I didn't find, didn't see on a map. So if you know anything about the history of it, and about one of these that are on the screen now, feel free to add that to the comments too. I really enjoyed Pawnee County. A lot of really cool stuff to find throughout this county. Hope you enjoyed it too. Now that you made it to the end of that video, let me tell you about some of the extras on the channel. One of the things you can do is become a member. There are 3 levels of support. There's supporter, producer, and executive producer levels. All 3 have different levels of fun incentives and perks. If you haven't done so, please check out travelwiththewiseguy.com. There are lots of extras on there to explore. One of them is merchandise. We have Travel with the Wise Guy coffee mugs, Death Go Round t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and all sorts of fun things to show your support of this channel.
Also on the website is a custom Google map. I've dropped pins in every place I've visited and linked the episode to each location. This seems to be a very popular feature for many of you. Also, sign up for my free newsletter that goes out about once a month. There are all sorts of links and tidbits on this page, old videos, podcasts, and just about everything I can think of I throw on the website. For all that information and more, go to travelwiththewiseguy.com. And now, the reason you're probably here, the outtakes.
Since you made it all the way to the end of the video after the credits, give you a little bonus here. We're not in Pawnee County, we're in Rush County, but this is going to be the historic landmark of Pawnee Rock. So I think the rock is down there. We drove kind of past it as we were coming up, and then they have a whole area up here to kind of memorialize it. See what they got here. And that's the town of Pawnee Rock over there. See the elevators and the water tower. Small little community, obviously named after the landmark here. I see some names kind of carved in there. I don't know how old they are. I think it's all carved on down there. All right, let's take a walk and see if we can find some carvings in the rock. I'm not going to climb all through the weeds, but you can see little carvings in the rocks up there. Pretty interesting. You know, this isn't some sort of huge memorial, or not memorial, but it's not some sort of like huge landmark like Chimney Rock or something like that. It's just pretty innocent out here. But pretty cool piece of history on the Santa Fe Trail. We are back in Pawnee County, and we are back in Pawnee County, Kansas, and it's the final video of our explorating Garfield, Kansas. It's a little noisy from back there, but what a setting with the downtown and the death go round. The downtown death go round. It's rusty. Spins really well. That thing, that'll go forever. So could use a little bit of a paint job, but I do like the rustic look. The spin rate is incredible. And with the old buildings in the background,
Ooh, that's really good. I'm gonna give it an 8.5. Zook has a death go round, but I feel like this is personal property. I really want to spin it, but it looks cool. We're gonna give it a 7 just for looks. We've made it to the, in my pocket again.
Whew, Pawnee County, you got a lot of annoying bugs. I thought Lane County was bad.